So this is our desktop mini lathe from King, 7" by 12". Pretty small little unit. I just want to go over the parts with you so that you become familiar with how to operate it and where all the controls are for each piece. So this here is your main control area for power and stuff like that. The switch in the middle, we'll start with that. Number 1 is your directional switch. So typically it should be set in forward, which allows the spindle then to spin this way, or the chuck to spin this way, and cut properly. This will also control the direction of the feed rod down here if you're doing power feeding, but we'll get into that a little bit later. All right, so number 1 is your directional switch for forward and reverse function. Number 2 is your power or your variable speed knob. So when you flip this on, it will begin to turn the chuck. And as you bring this up, this will be your speed that you control. In low speed, this will max out at 1100 RPMs, which is more than we need. So typically you're gonna run this with the knob sitting at about halfway. And the last part is this is the e-stop switch here. So when you press that, it will stop running, and then you have to reset it and turn this off actually in order to work. So we're gonna plug it in and show you that in 1 second. So now that we got that plugged in, we'll show you exactly how this works. So if I put this switch in the middle and turn this on, I don't get anything. Whereas if I move this to forward motion and now turn this on, you can see the spindle starts to rotate, and it's rotating towards me. And that there is your operating speed, about halfway. Okay, press this, shuts off. Okay, even if I reset this, I have to turn this off first before this will fire back up. I'm not sure if you can see that in the video, but right now our feed rod is spinning. So there is a control in the back that I'm going to turn off. And now if I turn it on, you can see that the feed rod is not spinning at all. Okay? So that's 1, 2, and 3, our e-stop. Number 1, our directional switch, and number 2, our variable speed control. The next part, let's talk about number 4. Number 4 is the guard. It as well is a safety setup. So if the guard is open, this will not run. If I bring the guard down, it won't run unless I turn it off and turn it back on. Okay? Or if the guard gets picked up, it'll shut off. There's a little micro switch in here that controls the power. So under the guard you have a chuck. This is a 3-jaw chuck. And right now it has a set of teeth in it that allows you to grab small diameter material and squeeze from the outside. We have another set of jaws that go the other direction, and these can be pulled out using the chuck key. We'll get into that in another video. Number 5 is our 4-way tool post. This handle here allows me to loosen it up, and then I can spin this, and you can see here it's got a tool mounted in it. All right, and this is our tool post. It will lock every 90 degrees. It'll kind of flip down and lock in there, and then you just lift it up. Maybe only the one way. There we go, lift it up and spin it and lock it back in nice and tight. Okay, that's our tool post, 4-way tool post, number 6. Number 7, we'll roll this out of the way here a bit and turn our camera. Number 7 is our tailstock. That's this piece here that allows us to hold the other end of the material if we need to. We can insert different things into this tailstock as well. It'll mainly have a live center in it or a drill chuck, and we'll get into that in a little bit. The tailstock lock is this nut down here, which right now is sitting tight, so the tailstock doesn't move. If I loosen this, I can move this tailstock back and forth, depending on the size of the material that I have inside here. So that is number 8, the tailstock lock. Number 9 is the tailstock center. It's not in here right now. Let's grab one. Number 9 is your tailstock center, which is this piece here that comes in and out. This is what we call a live center, meaning this center piece spins and will spin with your material. Number 10 is the tailstock adjusting handle. So I can spin this back and forth and move that tailstock in and out, or the quill in and out. Okay, that's just called the quill here. I don't believe that's on your list. Okay, so number 7 is the tailstock lock, number 8, tailstock center, number 9, tailstock quill adjustment handle, number 10. Just this guy here. And then we have a quill lock, which is this piece here. And once I lock that in, I then can't move that quill back and forth with the handle. Okay, and that is key to prevent this from sliding in and out. Number 12, we start to get in the heart of the lathe, which is this piece right here, made up of a number of different slides. And then first one we have is the top slide. That's this piece here, number 12. Okay. Number 13 is the top slide handle. So that's this guy here. And as I spin this, you'll notice that the slide moves closer and further away from the chuck. Okay, it's a little tight here with this tailstock in the way. Underneath that, we have the cross slide, which is this slide here. Okay, and that cross slide moves it in or out towards the material. So this is when you want to do your facing, you're going to use the cross slide. And when you do your turning, you're going to use the top slide. All right, those are your fine adjustments. Then we have an apron control wheel. This piece right here is the apron. I don't believe it's labeled on yours, the bottom one here that moves back and forth coarsely. Okay, and then you have the apron control wheel, that's number 16. And the apron lock, which is this piece here. So when I put that down and this isn't spinning, the feed rod isn't spinning, the apron will lock in place. If the feed rod is spinning and I lock this apron will then move with the feed rod and create an opportunity to do threading or do automatic feeds. The last one, number 18, is the steady rest. That's this piece here. And this is used if you're trying to hold a long piece of material and not use your tailstock to hold the other end. This then can support it in the middle to give it a little more rigidity so it's not chattering up and down. So I don't know how often we'll use this, but that's what this is. It's called a steady rest.